Hacks Hackers, the Paul G. Allen School of Computer Science and Engineering, and partner organizations, maybe it's more than three, have received a new $5 million award from the National Science Foundation's Convergence Accelerator. The award will support Phase 2 development of the Analysis and Response Toolkit for Trust, ART, a suite of expert-informed resources that are intended to provide guidance and encouragement to individuals and communities as they address contentious or difficult topics online. The ART Guide software tool presents for the first time a unique framework of possible responses for everyday conversations around tricky topics, all informed by online information analysis to help motivated citizens answer the question, what do I say and how do I say it? That's it. NSF, the National Science Foundation, the biggest source of science funding that isn't explicitly medical or otherwise applied, and a lot of the research that NSF funds is applied, that American scientists have access to, has given $5 million to help motivated citizens answer the question, what do I say and how do I say it?
When confronted with controversial topics.
That's extraordinary.
Well, it's extraordinary at a couple different levels. One, it's NSF. Right? This is the federal government, okay? So A, free speech is central here, not only in its general meaning, but in its First Amendment meaning.
Yes.
Second thing is $5 million. This is very much like the award given to the Together trial after they had found that ivermectin didn't work according to them, which of course is nonsense because their method wouldn't allow, it wasn't the proper test.
Well, this is a grant to do research supposedly, as opposed to an award.
It's the magnitude I'm talking about. $5 million for what sounds like a group of, bright-eyed young people to sit around a conference table and spitball about what might be said in a contentious conversation. $5 million. How would you even spend $5 million on this project?
Well, now I think the screenshot that Zach showed earlier. Let's see what they found so far.
So this is a progress report. They're showing us that they've already made some progress, and here's the progress.
This was in October of 24th. Like they have just gotten this money like 5-6 weeks ago, and now they've the thing has gotten off the ground. It says in addition to the toolkit, Hacks and Hackers is also developing a rating scale for reliable Wikipedia sources according to a job posting online. That project has already gotten off the ground. Wow, that's good news. So that $5 million is not being wasted. Citing left-leaning sources like Vox, The New Yorker, The Guardian, and The Boston Globe as reliable, while citing conservative sources like Ben Shapiro, The Daily Wire, and biologist Bret Weinstein as unreliable. Now, A, this is sexist. How the hell have they attacked me and not you? That is despicable. But let's exude reliability.
I guess that must be it. But you and I agree on a lot of stuff, so I might just be like reflecting reliable stuff, but it's still reliable. In any case,
this is insane.
It's insane.
So I guess like everything is wrong with this,
right?
But just to take the last phrases on the page here. Conservative sources like Ben Shapiro, The Daily Wire. Aren't Ben Shapiro and The Daily Wire very like? Isn't The Daily Wire Ben Shapiro's?
Daily Wire is Ben Shapiro dressed for work.
I see. Okay.
And then in Ben Shapiro is Ben Shapiro in casual clothes.
Ben Shapiro is conservative for sure.
Yes.
But that's kind of one thing.
Right.
And then let's see, biologist Bret Weinstein. Is it Steen or Stein?
No, it's Stein.
Oh, it's Stein. Okay. So biologist Bret Weinstein is not a conservative source. And let me see, it's not unreliable.
Not unreliable.
Really, track record's pretty good.
I would argue that if you would compare my record to any of the sources they cite as reliable, I will beat the pants off all of
Guardian.
them. Vox,
oh my God.
Worst of all. But anyway, so this is maddening. Yes. The federal government is paying these hacks hackers to generate guidance for what people should say in difficult conversations. And among the things that they've concluded early, because, you know, the more secure stuff at the foundation is that conservatives like me and Ben Shapiro are in fact unreliable, right?
Yeah.
So
well, him apparently doubly so.
Right. That's amazing. But the thing is, this is also tied into Wikipedia. Right? If you click through what you find, Zach, do you want to put up that? So the point is, this list of reliable sources is actually a Wikimedia list, which it declares people good and bad behind the scenes, so that this will cascade through the building of the Wikipedia site on all of the topics that are relevant. So scroll down or hit COVID-19 and you'll get...
hit COVID-19.
If you scroll down here, you will find, go to where you start seeing all of the warning, there be dragon symbols.
Yeah, there's Ben Shapiro, there's Bret Weinstein, there's, Daily Mail.
Right, so anyway.
Daily Wire, Epic Times.
I did an episode of Dark Horse in which we discussed with Norman Fenton the appalling breakdown of Wikipedia into a partisan... It's worse than partisan. If it was simply partisan like the New York Times, you could roll your eyes at it. But the problem is, it's still the best encyclopedia going if you want to know the volume of your favorite lake, or you want to know what kind, what sex determination in anglerfish looks like.
I don't know at this point that I would trust them on sex determination in anything.
I agree.
Honestly.
I take that one back. The geographic distribution of anglerfish, probably they're still reliable on.
Yes.
But the point is, okay, the greatest encyclopedia of all time moonlights as a mechanism for slandering sources who say things inconvenient to the elite cabal dressed in blue, and that is extremely dangerous, right? But so, okay, the federal government is influencing this organization. It is drowning them in money so that they can have, I'm sure, a really nice conference table.
I hope they can breathe.
Whatever they're doing, these people are now influencing Wikipedia, which we know to be extremely partisan and involved in slander. And the point is, how many unwitting people are going to be influenced by the NSF, which has laundered its plan through this organization and through Wikipedia?
Okay, but here's the bright side.
Yep.
Okay?
Oh, good.
So we got hackers, whoever they are, joining with a school. It was a school of like computer something at some university, presumably. So there's got to be some people who really know what science is doing the science. We presume, because they're making all the decisions about reliability of sources, talking about vaccines.
Well, they're sciencing.
Right, they're sciencing. They're sciencing it up. And Zach, if you would show my screen, Pfizer at least has our backs. Okay, so
good.
Pfizer has tweeted recently, wouldn't it be great if a few internet searches could land you a PhD? Thank goodness for real scientists. So they, in like a nod to The Onion or Babylon Bee, incredible. Area man, now full-fledged scientist thanks to one internet search, which, I don't know, kind of sounds like the hackers people to me, I'm guessing. So hold on, come back to my screen here for a second, Zach. Because the very next screenshot I want to show you, which just is a tiny bit back in Pfizer's feed, no, actually, it's the top of their feed as of this morning, is we are proud. This is Pfizer's proud to announce Pfizer's manufacturing division has won the Most Valuable Collaboration Award at the 2022 USA Reuters Pharma Awards.
The Reuters Pharma Awards, of course.
This is a testament to all our hardworking colleagues who continue to innovate and grow. The USA Reuters Pharma Awards.
Yeah.
Well, gee, I didn't know.
Is that a fact?
That a news agency, one of the largest, at least in the US, if not the world, was in the business of giving out awards to pharma companies. But I guess you live, you learn. And I did look a little bit at their site here. Let's show the site here, Zach. This is the Reuters Events apparently does a number of things. This isn't the only one, but here they're announcing the Pharma Awards for 2023. Where pharma's true value gets true recognition. And they're going to show us the 2020 categories for their awards. Are going to include the Driving Health Equity Award. Okay.
Driving Health Equity, okay.
Yeah. And the Delivering Inclusive Trials Award.
Whoa.
So there's nothing in any of these about the actual veracity of what the claims that the pharmaceutical companies are making. I see nothing in any of these lists. Nothing. And just one more thing, don't leave my screen yet here. If you go to the facts, the frequently asked questions, it's not that interesting. The entry process, the judges, it's all garbage. But at the very bottom of every single page, can't wait to experience this together. No question mark. Can't wait to experience this together.
I can.
Says Reuters Pharma Awards. Can't wait to experience this together. I can too.
All right.
I can too.
So I think there are two things that you have elided here that belong in discussion.
Excellent.
I looked at that tweet about Area Man on the basis of a single search.
This one. Hold on. This one.
Can you put it up, Zach? Maybe. Yes, this one. I looked at this one, and of course, I felt my eyes bulging and my temperature and blood pressure both going up simultaneously.
But why? You've got a PhD.
Well, that's just the thing. Is you and I have 2 PhDs together, and we have been slandered and libeled clearly by things that are closely affiliated with this particular entity. And so the point is, it dismissing people who have done searches that result in them finding information that matches what you and I have spent hundreds of hours discussing and explaining why we reached the conclusions we did and altering them when some new piece of information came up or when we learned that we had been wrong, right? All of that counts for nothing. They're going to mock the guy who comes to a conclusion that makes sense because, of course, he doesn't have a PhD, which is credentialism in the stupidest sense. But
Yes.
2 things.
Yes.
One, I recalled, and in fact, you can find it on Unheard's site. They discussed the research that showed that the acceptance of the vaccines had a U-shaped distribution, that there were 2 groups of people who were particularly hesitant about the vaccines.
The rejection has a U-shaped. The acceptance has a inverse U-shaped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depends whether the horseshoe is emptying luck over your door or...
If you say U-shaped, you just gotta...
All right.
Yeah.
The rejection has a U-shaped distribution where people who have very little education have rejected the COVID vaccines, and people who have PhDs also have rejected them in disproportionate numbers.
Those are the 2 educational demographics in which people have rejected them at higher levels than among the high school and college educated.
Correct. And so the idea that they are going to use the fact that Area Man does not have a PhD and has searched the internet and found something as an indication, but of course, they did not get 1,000 responses that said that to their goddamn tweet.
Well, they did get a lot of quote tweets. I didn't go through them, but
quote tweets, but they turned off replies.
Right. They prevented people from actually replying directly, but I'm sure they got a lot of mockery. And I mean, this is part of.
Right, but
we're not going to talk about this week why the thing that I alluded to earlier about what has sort of been throwing me. But I am probably the next time we come, we'll talk about it a little bit, which is going to be in 2 weeks, and I may post something about it in natural selections this week. But I will say that one of the things that I've really been thinking about anew, having given this thought for decades, is how much everyone needs to be encouraged to do what most people do innately and have educated out of them, which is think scientifically, make observations, see patterns, figure out what those patterns might mean. That's your hypothesis. Figure out if that hypothesis that you've made is true, what else would necessarily be true. That's your prediction. Figure out how you could assess whether or not that prediction that you've made that follows necessarily from that hypothesis is or is not true. That would be your test. Now, people don't need to then, run the tests, right? But in their daily lives, everyone inherently should be doing this, should be assessing the information that comes in, as opposed to having hackers tell them what to say. I mean, like literally they put that in their press release. What do I say and how do I say it? A motivated citizen needs hackers, who are the biggest hack jobs I've seen this week, who put you as a conservative providing misinformation about vaccines on their list, they are the people who want to tell you and us what to say and how to say it. Well, no. We are all supposed to decide, all of us individually, what to say and how to say it. And we're supposed to figure out what to say and how to say it by figuring out what is true. And we figure out what is true by observation and by figuring out where people are making sense and listening to them and engaging with them and engaging with other people who seem to be making sense and testing them and prodding them and saying, no, I don't agree with you. Why do you think that? When you don't agree with someone and you want to, and you have access to them, and you can say, why do you think that? And not acquiescing and being one of the 90% of scientists who said, yeah, no quantum supremacy for me. Like, no, we're all supposed to be doing this as individuals because we all have agency and autonomy, and we're just losing it. We're just losing the plot collectively.
Yep. And, you can, just as it is true that if, you okay, Dougie? If ivermectin didn't work, the idea that you would need some giant fraud that was built to fail to prove it, of course you wouldn't. Right. If ivermectin didn't work, you could just run a large-scale randomized controlled trial. You could give it to people early. You could give it to them in sufficient doses. You could not hide the cap of the doses. It would just demonstrate itself not to be very useful, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you find fraud tells you something. And the fact that you and I people are being told they should not pay attention to us. Who are they being told they should not pay attention to? Well, to biologists who say that predictive power is the way that you will know whether somebody knows what they're talking about. Right? Like, how could we game our own system? Either we have predictive power or we don't, right? And if we don't have predictive power, then people may listen to us, and then they will discover we don't know what we're talking about because we fail to predict stuff.
Maybe to go full circle, it's postmodernism again.
It is.
It's like, you know what? You people may have predictive power, but you must be manipulating reality. Like, that's the only consistent thing that they could be believing, wherein two people who, yes, have the credentials that give us the respectability to be talking about the things that we do, because we both have PhDs in biology, but also are just employing the scientific method day in, day out, in front of you guys, not in front of you guys, all the time, to try to figure out what is true. And sometimes what is true is surprising, and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's ugly, and sometimes it's beautiful, and none of your emotional reaction to it changes whether or not it's true or not.
Well, I think what's actually happening is that the elites who are exerting power to do this, the rent seekers, because of the time-traveling money printer idea, they think wisely, decided to blind the rest of us. And it's like, yes, it's a dark age, but the point is, we're going to put blindfolds on you all, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure you can't see things. And what they think they've done is they have privatized the information that allows them to live well and make money. But they don't realize that actually, no, the scientific system is not going to work privately, right? They are in fact blinding themselves too, and they just don't realize it. And they are putting themselves in grave danger. And there's that happening over there. But but in any case, I do feel like they have cultivated a dark age thinking that they were clever for doing it, and they have no idea. It's Sorcerer's Apprentice, and it is.
Yeah.
It's Sorcerer's Apprentice, and it is.
We got all the broom drones coming now.
They do.
Yeah.
They do, and they don't even know how to turn it off. They don't even know that they need to turn it off because they feel, short term, it's giving them a positive signal. All right. Well, maybe he's telling us something.
Maybe he is. I don't yet know what language he's speaking.
Nope.
But no, this is actually working pretty great.
Okay, that's perfect.
That's pretty charming.
Yeah, that's a new
actually.
method.
So apologies for those just listening. You should definitely come and just take a view of the last bit of our show today, wherein the cat gets blanket in his mouth.